Well, there you go. Two totally custom bulletin boards for a future project. Check back in a couple weeks to see what they are for. Check back in a couple weeks to see what they are for. In a couple weeks. In a couple weeks. Hi, I am Nicky Clements, and I used to make stuff like this. A couple years ago, Dave Picciuto on Make Something made a vision board.
Today, we're going to make a vision board. What is a vision board? It's a collection of images of what you want for your life.
And ever since seeing that video, I've wanted to make one. And it wasn't until recently that I got the motivation to do so when I had the idea to make it out of corkboard, which you saw me make in a previous video. So yes, this is the epic conclusion as to why I made two custom corkboards. And interestingly enough, in the intro to Dave's video, he said this.
A vision board can be as simple as a cork panel with images torn out of magazines and tacked to it. And that's what most of them are, and that is perfectly fine.
So it just seems very fitting that I chose to use corkboard. Now, like Dave said, a vision board can be as simple as just cutting a picture out of a magazine and sticking it on a corkboard. But instead, I'm actually going to use these tack strips that I made in the beginning of the video to make my board function much in the same way that Dave's did. Now I hear what you're saying. That just seems like tacks with extra steps. Exactly. And also, much like Dave's, instead of using pictures cut out of a magazine, I'm also going to use Polaroids. Well, in my case, Fujifilm Instax. But it's a lot easier just to say Polaroid, same as Kleenex, Frisbee, and Velcro. And it was also a great excuse to buy one of these instant photo printers, which Dave used a very similar device in his video. His actually, you set the phone on and it actually took a picture off the screen of the phone. This, I imagine, actually probably has an LCD screen built in, so it works in much the same way. But then again, I'm really not sure. All I know is that it actually produces very high quality photos. And it's actually very fun and easy to use. You just open up the app on your phone, select the photo that you want to print, hit print, In a few seconds, you have your picture. Now, I also hear what you're saying. That just seems like printing a picture with extra steps and extra cost. Exactly. I could have easily just printed this off on the computer. It would have been faster and basically free, but I think in much the same reason that Dave wanted to use Polaroids, this just feels like a real physical object, more so than just something printed on a piece of paper. And the fact that there's a cost involved means that I had to be more selective about which picture I actually chose to put on here. But again, if all you need is a cutout from a magazine, that's perfectly fine. I just like transforming my image into something with some weight and texture and physicality. And also, this is just really cool. But at this point, there's not much else to do other than just getting these strips put on the bulletin board and getting the photos arranged. Now, I'm actually going to be making a future video going more in depth on how I made these tack strips, plus exploring all the different possibilities that can come from these Marquee strips. That's part of the reason it took me so long to get this video out, because I just kept coming up with more ideas revolving around this concept. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be really cool. I think it's really going to inspire a lot of creativity and very cool ideas. I'm just really excited about all the possibilities from this simple strip. So I want to get the center row of photos centered on the bulletin board. Okay, so I made a slight miscalculation into how many photos could fit. Well, kind of. This one just almost fits without a top strip. Now I could remove one edge of the strip on the top and bottom, so that it's basically a, top and bottom strip only. Or I could use this as a perfect example to show you a sneak peek at one of the very many cool features of these strips. Actually, so there we go. As you can see, a very versatile system. So this board could hold 15 pictures if I really wanted it to. As it stands, it can still hold 12. So as I think of, or more accurately remember all of the things I want to do, I can fill this out to 3 pictures on each row. For right now, I'll just try and stagger it to make it look a bit more intentional. But again, that's what's so cool about this system, is that it can grow and change as you need and want it to. Say I switched up to full-size Polaroids. Well, it's super easy. To just reconfigure the strips to a completely different size picture. And you could also style these strips any way you want. You could paint them any color. You could even put a wood veneer on top of it to make it super fancy. Or better yet, fake wood veneer. That's actually surprisingly convincing. I actually kind of like that. I don't know, now I'm conflicted. I think I'll stick with just the white for now. I do think it looks pretty nice, but I was just kind of gonna do that just for fun, but that's actually really nice. And honestly, once it's all fulled out and you don't even see the cork anymore, that could be really nice. But the white plastic is pretty nice too, and it definitely goes with the white plastic of the Polaroid, so that certainly works as well. And I'm sure you noticed that I still have a stack of photos and more tack strips, and of course a second bulletin board. That's because I'm making 2. This one more for the channel related things and videos that I want to do, and another one just more for personal things, personal projects I want to do, or goals I want to reach, or even just some things I want to buy. I'm sure you've noticed that these are a lot longer, and I'm making this one in the other orientation just because why not? And there we go, in literally a matter of minutes, I have my second vision board. Now in this orientation, it can only hold a max of 12, but again, that's perfectly fine. And I actually quite like both orientations. And then another option would be going vertical with the photos. The border here might look a little odd in that direction. You could maybe cut it off, you know, if you're picky about that type of thing. But if you wanted all portrait, again, you could easily rearrange these strips to fit that orientation. But there you go. I am extremely, extremely happy with these. These are fantastic. And again, I'm only scratching the surface of all the cool things and ideas I have for these strips, so definitely stay tuned. Now this one, I think I'm actually going to add as part of the set. I think, yeah, all right. And as for this one, I think we're going to put it outside my bathroom door, so it's definitely something I'll be able to see every single day. If you are at all curious as to what any of these represent, feel free to ask me in the comments. I may or may not answer, but I feel most of them are pretty self-explanatory. But a huge thank you to Dave Picciuto for the inspiration to make this project. Go check out his video if you haven't seen it. It's definitely a good one. He definitely explains a bit more as to kind of the ideas behind a vision board. But my sincere thank you for watching. Once again, I am Nick D. Clements, if you're wondering. Nick is short for Nicholas, and the D stands for David Picciuto. Anyway, I'm off to make something else.